What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to properly fix the fan clutch this time. My patch job didn't last long. I knew it wasn't. It ran about 10,000 miles. I've got a new fan clutch in. I've got it sitting over in the floor. I'll show you what I'm talking about on this. I don't know if you can see down in there. Let me turn the light on there. If you look right there, the clutch and the fan where I'm turning it, and you see how it's slipping? That's in the locked on position. It should not be slipping. And what's happening is that clutch is slipping, and then the engine starts running hot. And I was down in Houston the other day, and it started running hot on me, and turned the heater on, cut the air conditioner off, and just kind of let out of the throttle and kind of let it coast, and it cooled back down. Anyway, got the load off, made it back home, all that good stuff. So we're getting ready to put the fan clutch on there now, the new one. Or actually, it's not a new fan clutch completely. It's a rebuild kit for this fan clutch, but it's a different kind of rebuild kit, but it's supposed to be a drop-in unit. It's a 2-speed fan clutch, where this is a single-speed fan clutch. And I'll go over the differences and show you that in a little bit. But right now, let's go ahead and get this taken off and get it out here where we can get it on the floor or table or something and work on it. Alright guys, a tip on taking this off, if you're working on a Volvo with an ISX, at least this year model, this is 04 to 6 or 7 should be the same anyway. The later models may be a little different. But a ratchet, 14 millimeter, you stick your hand through the fan blades down here. I've already broke it loose, but stick your hand through there, you can get right on those fan bolts. You get it loose like that, reach down in there with your hand, unscrew the nuts, easily set the fan down in there and lay it up against the radiator. Be careful not to damage the radiator or drop the fan and let it fall up against the radiator. You'll knock a hole in it, but just ease it off and kind of let it sit there. Then you can pull these two bolts here out, these two bolts here out, release your tensioner down there, take your belt off, and then this here kind of push forward a little bit when you take this bracket off, and then you take your tensioner or your idler off, I believe, to get to the bolting behind there, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, there's some bolts hidden down in here in this bracket. Once you get those out, this will kind of come off and come up. It's some studs, I think. You have to slide it off the studs, and then it'll come up through here. You can pull it off. So it's a little bit of a pain, just because you can't really see down in there and you kind of leaned over and everything over top of it. But you can get it off without taking, you know, the whole cooling stack out or all this other mess. So anyway, let me go ahead and get this fan off of here, and we'll get it out. All right, guys, you can see how I got the fan just dropped down in there, and you see how easily that clutch spins right there. And like I say, it's in the engaged position, so it should be lock solid right there. Alright guys, I got it off. This bracket here is part of the truck. It does not come with a new fan clutch. So if you're doing that, the fan clutch part here comes off the 4 bolts. I'm probably not going to take that off, at least not yet. They make a tool to hold this right here, and you have to apply air pressure in the inlet to release this in order to take it off if your clutch is good. But this one is burnt up, as you can see, so there's no force there, no reason to do that. So we're going to skip that step. You need a T55 Torch Plus, which I don't have, so we're going to attempt to use this normal T55, which is probably going to mess the bolt up, and we're probably going to break the fan clutch housing prying on it like this, but we got a new one, so it doesn't matter. Let's see here. I don't think I'm going to the right direction or not, because this is left-hand thread, and I think I'm not. Okay, maybe we'll go the other way. Man, that thing's tight. The new designed fan clutch, at least when you install it, it's called a quick kit. And I won't have to mess with this part here again, I don't believe. And then the threads are so long on that, my Allen does not go, or my Torx does not go all the way down in there. So I'm going to have to get a screwdriver and try to stick down there and hold that. What I'm trying to do is get the blade here, the screwdriver to catch in the holes, or the teeth of that Torx to hold it, because I got it loose. It just needs to be unscrewed here. What I was doing there, like that, trying to unscrew that. You can see the cover there, it's trashed. I knew it was when I put it on there when I patch jobbed this last time. But it did get me down the road, and to where I could get another one on the way. So we got to take these Torx screws out here. Hopefully you can hear me because it's pouring now and raining. But let me grab a Torx. We'll remove these Torx screws and pull this apart. They send a cage nut in the kit to put on this right here to hold the, to keep the springs from coming apart. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to take the screws out and let it ease up. But they do send a nut to hold this together to keep it from flying apart. Nope, that one's stripped. Well, I guess we'll take an air chisel and hammer away at it and break the bolt off. And then we'll get it out. Or I could just drill the hell out of it off. Get it out that way. I'm going to grab a drill bit. We'll try to drill the head of it off first. And go it that way. For those of you watching really close, that is a left-handed drill bit, by the way. May have to get a standard drill bit though. Oh, this is still cutting somewhat. we go. And that's the springs I was talking about. I knew it was going to do that. But here's your clutch lining right here. It's about burnt up. And as I say, there's a cage nut that goes right here that supposedly compresses this. Should be able to clamp our vice grips on and unscrew our broke off bolt here, or not broke off, but drilled out bolt here. Get that out of there. Get real world results here, not the where they show the video at Horton doing this. They don't have all this issue. They already have everything loosened up and ready to go. But if you're doing your own, this is probably what you're going to run into. Alright guys, now that it stopped raining enough, maybe you can hear me. I pulled the air cap assembly off here. It's just got this little snap ring and your little air cap where the air comes through. And this is your bearing down in here. And they did not send a cage nut in there for this here when I took it apart, so that was really the only way I could do that. I thought there was one in there and I just didn't plan to use it because I took it apart before without one and figured it'd be okay. And anyhow, but they did not actually send one. They did send this nut down in here, which is what I seen, along with the new bearing and the little O-rings and stuff down here, plastic piece down in here. They sent all that, but there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't have a way, a good way to press this bearing in there. And this fan clutch here has only been on there 200 and something thousand miles, maybe 250. And they're ready to go 2 to 3 times as long as that, usually before you have any trouble with the bearings in them. The truck probably won't run that long. I don't look for it to, so I'm not going to worry with that because like I say, I don't have a press really to do it. I mean, I could probably, if the bearing was bad, I could probably beat on it with a hammer and probably get something to work, but I hate to take a perfectly good bearing and beat on it with a hammer and beat the new one in with a hammer, and it liable to be worse time I get through doing that than this one here is right now. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to clean this air cap up here, put it back on there, and then the new quick kit 2-speed just drops into this housing right here. There's a seal we'll have to put right here and put some grease on it. I'll show you over here in the kit what comes with it. This is all the seals and stuff. This is that nut I was talking about, and that's your seals. They sent some new screws. They sent some grease assembly. This is the air cap they send, and then this is those little pieces there down in the middle for your air seals. This is the new bearing right here. You can see how big, wide that bearing is. And they want you to press it in there that side up and all that good stuff. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with that bearing. I'm not going to do that. This is the 2-speed fan clutch right here. And the way this works is through eddy current. These are magnets. And as this turns, it uses eddy current like a dyno brake or something to drive the fan at a low speed RPM. It also has the clutch in there as well, just like the other one, so that when it needs to go into high speed, that it can lock the clutch on as it is now and drive the whole thing just like the other one. But what this is supposed to do, also you notice that you can just bolt this on the way they ship it from the front side, where the other one, the other front cover does not have any holes in it where you can do that. You have to unscrew down in the center of that bolt like I did to get it off. But this one here, they put it together. This is a DM Advantage fan clutch. The other one is just a DM, which is a Drive Master. And I guess that's the difference. I was wondering what the difference was. I couldn't find anything that said, but that's the difference that I see. Is this one they can ship it as a quick kit already assembled here, where you don't have to mess with this. There's the springs inside. You just bolt it in right here. and put it to work. So there's a seal right here. You had to put some grease on, keep from cutting, and then your other seal goes right here where my finger's at. We'll put that in a second. So this still works just like the old part over here that I took out. I've got it holding up the fan clutch there, but see, anyway, so that part still works just like that right there, as you can see. You see what that looks like. You see the springs in there. It's got springs in that, and it's just compressed because all this is tightened up like it should be, and this one's not. So the difference is the clutch that's here that we removed, it's over there on the floor, the lining is built up inside of here, as you can see, but then they have the magnets here that's on the surface that's going to turn this at slow speed instead of being released fully and just free spinning on this bearing here. All right, so the deal with the 2-speed is, the reason I decided to go this route, because like I say, I put this fan clutch on here brand new about 250,000 miles ago. And then it went out about 10,000 miles ago, and I took the old clutch that I had that I replaced from 250,000 miles ago, that's right there, and I had to throw it out in the scrap pile, and I took it apart and got the lining out of it because the lining burned up on this one. So I just kind of patch jobbed it to get me by till I could order a new one, because they don't keep two-speed fan clutches down at Walmart, as most of you know. So anyway, that's what I did, and I got the new one in now, and that's what we're working on. But the reason I went with the 2-speed is because this truck here does not have a switch on the dash to lock your fan clutch on when you're idling or traveling at slow speed. A lot of the trucks do, like the Freightliners and stuff, I think they still do. I'm not sure on that. You can comment in the video if all the newer trucks have went away from that. But back in the day, you could lock these fan clutches on. Volvo, I don't know if Volvo ever had that. I know 2004 and up they don't. But what that did was when you're sitting there idling, it kept that fan clutch from locking on and off, locking on and off. Because while your air conditioner's sitting there running, it's building up pressure on that condenser, and your AC pressure sensor kicks that fan clutch in about every 45 to 60 seconds. Sitting there idling at high idle, you know, 700-800 RPM, sitting there, got the air conditioning on, fan clutch is constantly kicking on and off. You guys in the truck stops, you know what I'm talking about. You walk by some of them trucks, you can hear them. They kick on, they kick right back off. They kick on, kick right back off. Well, that's why. So that's what I'm trying to eliminate. Now, I could run a toggle switch and all that and put that on this truck, but I decided since I'm having to replace the fan clutch anyway, I should have did that, I guess, when I put this fan clutch on there 250,000 miles ago, and it'd probably still be working because it would have eliminated a lot of wear and at slow speed traveling, driving through mills, parking lots, that sort of thing, and then cut it off and let it work normally when you're driving down the road. So that would eliminate a lot of wear, but I didn't do that. So since I did not do that, I decided to go with this 2-speed fan clutch, which is going to allow the fan to turn at a slow speed, 600 to 700 RPMs all the time instead of being freewheeling all the time. And that's going to help with the clutch kicking in and out, in and out. It should not be doing that anymore. This does come at a cost of, I will lose a little bit of fuel mileage. This truck doesn't get any fuel mileage anyways, most of the time. I actually did run the thing with the locked on fan clutch at one time, because when the ECM went out while I was fixing that, that sent the signal to unlock the clutch, it was locked on. I drove it for about 3 months with that, and you can definitely hear, tell the difference in the fuel mileage with the fan clutch being locked on all the time, that's for sure. But this shouldn't be that bad. I may lose a couple tenths, but it only gets about 5 point something anyways. If you drive like Grandpa and baby it, you might get 6 if you're lucky and you don't let it idle very much. But anyway, I drive it just normal, and I get about mid-5s, plus or minus, depending on the weather and the fuel quality and all that good stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this stuck back together, and then we'll try out this 2-speed fan clutch. All right, so I'm going to stick our old piece back over here just to set this up on level and make things easier. probably get a little bit of brake clean on a rag over here, clean that old grease out. All right, we got that taken care of. Wipe this here off. All right, this is the grease that they sent with this. It looks a whole lot like regular grease to me, but anyways. Put some down here on this, so that when we stick our air cap back on there, we don't cut the seal. We'll put our keeper back in here, because as I say, we're not messing with that because there's nothing wrong with it. I don't see a reason to. Make sure that's snapped in good. And we got to get our seal over here. All right, this is the new seal that they send in the kit. And I don't know why, but they send it in a wadded up package for some reason. It goes in there like that right there, and we got to put some grease all around that. I'm going to put a little bit on that on this lip right here. Kind of like that. It goes with the wide part down. Alright guys, I went ahead and put just a little bit on there as well, just to make sure we don't cut that seal when we put this together. And we're going to line our holes up here the best that we can, eyeballing them and drop it down in there. They sent some new screws to go along with this. Get it popped down in there firmly. Just going to go ahead and start all the screws. Make sure we get them all down in there. Everything's lined up right. Alright guys, so far this 2-speed fan clutch has made installation a pain in the butt. It being bigger in diameter made it harder to get between here, and I cannot get my idler pulley for the belt to go on because the bigger diameter right there is hitting the fan clutch now. And so I'm guessing I'm going to have to take it back off, put this on, but with this pulley on here, it's hard to get to the bolt in behind it. So I may have to take these small screws back out and allow this to come forward just enough to clear that. It don't like much, maybe 3/8 of an inch or so. And this pulley will slide in further and then slide on there, and I put the bolt in it. So let me figure that part out, and hopefully everything else will go smooth. Alright guys, I've applied shop air to the truck and turned the key on to let this fan clutch move forward in hopes that that would help. As you can see, it's released right now. You can see how the front turning and the back's not. Hoping that that was enough, but it does not appear to be quite enough. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got my T55 down there on my breaker bar held up against this, and I got a really long pry bar right here and got it down on the studs without damaging them, and turned this thing this way, broke it loose, and I've got it unspun. You can see the magnet showing there. I'm spinning the front cover off. You do have to have shop air applied. You can see I have air going to the clutch right there, and it's released. And I got it spun back enough that I think this bearing will go on there now, and I can get it on there, and then I'll have to tighten this back up. You should not have to do this, but that's just kind of how this project's going. So that's what I'm doing. I think I can get it on there now, and then tighten the front cover back up, snug it back down, and finish putting everything back together. Alright guys, here's the next problem we have. It's worse than the first problem, I think. This is the belt tensioner right here that goes right here. As you can see, that has to tension be pried down in order to get your belt on there, and it's hitting the fan clutch. So it's not the pulley on it that's hitting, because the pulley's behind it. It is the tensioner itself. So hopefully I can remove some metal on that and get it to work. As you see, there's a pretty decent sized lip right there. Hopefully I can remove some of that and get that to clear. So let me do that and we'll find out. Alright guys, I've removed all that excess lip right there on the edge of that. You can see where I ground it down right there, cut it off. So we'll see if that makes it fit or not. Alright guys, that was not enough. I had to go back and cut some more. I notched it a little deeper right there and cut it on down a little bit more so that this piece just fits behind the ridge right there on the fan clutch. And so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get it installed now, and hopefully we can get somewhere. This is not turning out to be a quick clutch kit at all. It's turning out to be a pain in the butt. But anyway, let me go ahead and get this stuck on here. Alright guys, I got it on there. There's very little clearance right there in between the belt tensioner and that. In fact, it'll probably rub whenever this clutch releases or locks on. But I got a feeling it's going to clearance itself pretty quickly. There's also a spacer right there between the fan and the clutch. See right here, this gap that came with it. And I don't know if that's supposed to go right there to allow airflow to go around those aluminum fins to cool those eddy currents that's going to be swimming around in there, or what, or if that was supposed to go on the other side of the fan as like a reinforcement. But I just put it right there because it doesn't say anything about it in the instructions, and the truck didn't have one on it before. So it kind of leads me to believe if it was made for reinforcement, it would have had one on it before. It would have been on the front side when I pull the bolts off. But it does not, so I put it right there, and we're going to see how that works.
I do have a spare tensioner and belt in stock if we destroy some stuff. So let's crank it up, see what happens.
All right, guys, do not, under any circumstance, do what you just seen me do. I'll show you what I did, but do not do it. See this pry bar here? I sharpened the edge of it right there, so it'll be like a lathe tool. And I stuck it down in between here like this at an angle, and you can see where I machined the edge of that off right there, right here, so that it would clear this tensioner
I'm gonna zoom you in right here so you can see. You see that right there? You see the gap in between the tensioner right there and this? And I had to do that to get that to work. And that's with the fan clutch locked on. So that's with it, you know, with it pulled back. It's in the lock position and I got clearance there. Now, I had this in eddy current mode so that there was a little bit of forgiveness there. And I did that by, there's a wire here going to my solenoid. It's disconnected it like that right there. Is it locked on, and with it connected is eddy current mode. That's applying voltage to it to stay released as long as the engine temperature is low, which the engine temperature is low because I just cranked it up, so it shouldn't have locked on. Anyway, that is a good way to get yourself hurt or killed. If they would have grabbed that pry bar wrong, it could have stabbed it through me or something like that. Could not have been good, but I had to do what I had to do to get this done and get my truck back on the road, I suppose. But don't do that. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope if you install a 2-speed fan clutch on your truck that it goes a whole lot better than mine did, and you don't have to take the risk that I took to make it fit and get my truck down the road. I'm sure the safety police will be after me shortly, but I knew what I was doing was stupid before I done it, and I think that makes a difference. The people that pull out in front of 18-wheelers and are texting on their cell phone while they're driving down the interstate at 70 miles an hour riding beside an 18-wheeler, yes, I've seen it. They'll speed up. I've seen it a lot, actually, just about every trip, if not every other trip. They'll speed up, get beside you, they'll slow down. You look over there, you see the phone, they're texting away on the phone, swerving beside an 18-wheeler. I don't think they realize that they're stupid. But that could end just as badly as what I just did. But I knew I was stupid before I did what I had to do. So anyway, I got the job done. I did not get injured in the process, thankfully. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't know why Horton didn't do a little bit better on that fan clutch. They could have used the lathe to trim that down a little bit, made it just a touch smaller where it would have fit. Would have been great. But anyway, got it going. So we'll see you guys in the next video.